and welcome to another episode of Skip the Noise podcast. It is me, Rick, the Brown Python, and Ben, the Mexican Nostradamus. And of course, Benji is not here today, which is why I'm the one doing the intro. And so that's what happens when Benji's not here, is we get amateur hour, you know?
Oh,
but
yeah,
I know, man. I know, and it's our triumphant return, dude. Like,
it is a triumph.
We've had some rough weeks too, you know.
It's been very rough.
You've been busy, then I'm busy, then Benji's busy, then everyone's busy.
It's been crazy.
It's done. Yeah,
we've been nuts.
But you know what though? After 100 shows, I think we need some rest. You know, I mean.
Well, we
gotta turn off the engines a little bit, and then get back on for the next 100.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we're fine. I think occasionally you're gonna have, some type of like breaks. But yeah, and we're old, so we definitely needed a little bit of time to catch up. Plus, also, last week, so you can still probably hear a little bit of my voice, but my voice was hoarse all last week. So my allergies just kicked in and
you had a horse
shit on me. Yeah, I ate 2 horses.
Wow.
Deep throated.
Oh my god.
Dude. Big old horse.
That's crazy.
Yeah, me and Mr. Ed. So I'm going to go ahead and just give everyone a nice little trigger warning. This will not be probably our most lighthearted episode. Just going to go ahead and put that out there. Today is April 24th, and we are probably on the precipice of one of our worst school shootings probably to date in the United States, in Uvalde, Texas, which is south of San Antonio.
It's
southwest
of San Antonio.
Southwest of San Antonio.
Southwest of San Antonio.
Yeah. There was a school shooting today where an 18-year-old young man, we won't name him because we're not trying to.
No, it doesn't matter. It
doesn't matter. He's just a piece of shit. 18-year-old young man killed his grandmother.
You mean young animal?
Yeah, young animal killed his grandmother and then proceeded to Uvalde, I believe, Robb Elementary School.
Yeah.
And then went in, opened fire, and killed 2 adults and 19 children. The children, unfortunately, they just never know. Death's never a good thing, but the children were between the ages of, they were between 2nd and 4th grade. So
yeah,
one of the greatest tragedies probably of all human time, nature, no matter what, is the sadness of losing children, especially very young children. They never even, had a chance to really live their lives. And in regards to the understanding of innocence, you can't get any more innocent than that.
No, you can't get any more innocent than children.
Yeah. So it's just very sad, very disturbing. It was horrible. And I mean, yeah, it was bad.
I can't, we have kids that are pretty much almost the same age as those kids,
Yep.
And to send them to school, I send my kids to school every day. I put them in the car, I give them a kiss, I tell them I love them.
Yep.
And I send them to school.
Yep.
And when something like this happens and they don't come back. I mean, what the fuck do you do, man? How do you live on? You don't.
Well, I mean, what do you do exactly? Like, how do you? And also before you even start getting too much into this, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the family members, and individuals and all the students actually of that school. Everyone involved, unfortunately, our hearts and prayers go out to you. To what you've had to go through today. For some people, is the worst days of their life.
It's something to experience this, say in a big city like Houston. It affects Houstonians or whatever, when a tragedy happens. But small town Texas, man, town Texas.
Yep.
I've been to Uvalde several times. So they're beautiful people over there. Beautiful people. I can relate to them. They're small town charm. They're kind. They respect one another. And unfortunately, the lack of security at the school is reflective of the people, the nature of the people.
Yeah.
Trustworthy, with honor, dignity, hardworking.
Yep.
That's the people of Uvalde. That's how I know the place.
Yep.
And for this thing to happen, and it's sad, dude. It really is. I know that community is hurting. I know, I can feel it. I mean, I can feel how that community is feeling right now. It's a horrible, horrible feeling that everybody just has going to sleep tonight.
Yep.
Anyway, my heart goes out to them. It really does.
So I guess the big thing is now let's get to the brass tacks, unfortunately, the situation, and we're gonna have to talk about in regards to what happened.
Let's talk what happened.
So basically, around, I believe the suspect, well, he is deceased. He's gone. He was shot by the police. So that was the first part. For some reason, that's good. So yeah, so basically he was shot. He was in a shootout with police. He shot his grandmother initially, then went to the school and committed the most heinous crimes, killing basically 19 children and 2 adults so far. I think there could possibly be more, but so far I've only seen 21, but we have been hearing numbers as high as 23 that have perished from this incident. So apparently the suspect had an Instagram account where he posted pictures of weapons, in particular 2 AR-15s. Which were the ones that were used in this particular situation. So he said something like he played a clip off of something and said, "Kids better be afraid in real life." And of course, used the term IRL, which is just a
that's an acronym for
for in real life. Not much else really has been said regarding the particular individual, what's happening, but you definitely tell there's definitely a mental health aspect to this. But what we're starting to see, the situation is despicable.
What happened here? So this individual shot his grandmother. Okay. Yes. And somewhere along the way, he engaged the Border Patrol. In a firefight.
Well, the Border Patrol were the first to respond to the scene.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, the Border Patrol is not in charge with local law enforcement or county law enforcement or state law. They're federal law enforcement to protect the border. But, coming from a border town, I'm from Laredo.
Right.
Border Patrol is just as much a part of our families and part of the community as they come. They're,
right.
And whenever we had a situation in Laredo where the police needed backup, the Border Patrol was always there with their helicopters. They were there with their manpower. They were there to help the community, even if it was not their job. They were there. And the Border Patrol, they engaged this individual twice.
Right.
And some chase gave way, and he somehow ended up crashing his car at the school.
Yeah.
Which is where he was headed, I believe. Based on his Instagram post, he was headed towards the school, but the Border Patrol caught on and engaged this individual.
Right. And
he crashed his car at the school, and he barricaded himself at one of the classrooms where he started shooting, the children, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it was a Border Patrol who took him down.
Right.
So, I'm just, that was the events that occurred today. And my thanks goes out to the Border Patrol for protecting the community which they serve. They got a bad rap, but in true reality, growing up in the border town, I know their dedication to ultimately that's where their kids go to school. That's where they go shopping. They are part of the community.
Yep.
And they do go above and beyond what they're asked to do. So anyway, just want to start with that.
Well, yeah, and I like you said, I would also commend the Border Patrol for what they did today. I think that was a crucial step. Had they not had stopped him in a timely manner, it could have been worse, because apparently, so just kind of going through some of the facts that I'm running into throughout this thing, he apparently was texting classmates, pictures of the weapons, and that he had a lot of rounds. They didn't really necessarily say a number, but apparently he had quite a bit of 223 rounds. He definitely, ARs were used in this attack. Handgun also. The other crazy part was The guy worked at Wendy's. He worked at a local Wendy's.
Nice,
Basically, yeah, just worked like 11 to 4, 5 days a week. And just apparently was just described as a quiet person, kind of kept to himself. So there were some, there were some signs, but the sad thing is that, it is what it is. But they definitely have to commend, though, like you said, the Border Patrol, they actually put themselves between the shooter and the children. Yeah. And that's a big deal. There have been other school shootings where police officers have ran the other way and tried to say, oh, I did it because, that was what where training is. Those guys ran in there not even knowing what they were up against. And to be quite honest with you, from the pictures of what he had a significant amount of firepower. Like, he was not playing around. So he had more of a tactical style AR with the laser sight and a kind of a more typical AR also with laser sights. He wasn't playing. He went in there to put in work, and it was horrible and it was disgusting. But nonetheless, once again, we're here on the precipice of another school shooting. We had Sandy Hook. We have had the school. There's so many. That's what I'm saying. Houston. Yep. There's so many in Santa Fe. There's just so many of them now that, you almost kind of start forgetting them. And the apathy that we've begun to have, the lack of care, South, it's crazy. It's as if South Park sometimes has a magic ball. They did a special about that. When there were episodes, and literally it just had like school shooters rolling into school, shooting up kids, and everyone just ignoring it and no one doing anything. They're just like,
Randy asked Stan, were you the one who shot the school? No. Oh, so what's this test you got?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think that's where we're at, right?
Well, dude, I mean, think about this. The similarities between Sandy Hook and this school shooting are phenomenal. You had an individual whom, in Sandy Hook, we later come to find out he was deranged and had mental issues. Shoots his guardian, which turned out to be his mother. Yep. And doesn't, of course, there's no engagement with law enforcement. He walks into a school, starts shooting it up for no damn reason.
Yep.
All right. Same thing happened here.
Very similar.
The same thing happened
Very
here.
Similar.
So what's changed from 2000, 7?
This was 10 years ago. 10 years ago. Sandy Hook is almost 10 years. I think they said it's very close to 10 years ago. That's what everyone says. So it's either exactly 10 years ago or right at 10
Nothing's changed in 10 years, dude.
No, that's not.
Nothing.
Well, actually, if you kind of look at it, the gun control in Texas has actually gotten more lax in the last 10 years. I mean,
it's gotten worse. I mean,
well, that's the question, right? Let's phrase it. Let's crux that question. How do you deal with school shooters, right? What do you do with these crazy individuals? How do you handle it? And of course, you're going to see a lot of people saying, leave my guns alone. And then you'll have people talking about gun control and get rid of all the guns and ban them all.
Now, Ben, I know you're a gun enthusiast. You said it before here on the show.
I am 100% a gun enthusiast. Mm-hmm. I will not. And I'm sorry. And I understand that these weapons they're terrifying. They are scary, but they are also, unfortunately, tied irrevocably to the freedom of United States citizens. True. So, and I'm not saying that lightly. It's horrible. I understand what these things can do. But the problem that I think is happening with these school districts and these schools is the lack of security. Okay. These guys
talk about that.
Well, they'll blow, that's my first harping is they'll blow $175 million to build a football stadium, but they can't fucking put metal doors on these schools. They can't have emergency lockdown procedures that lock down all the doors of the school. They can't They can't have a police officer present all the time. Like our most precious resource, ladies and gentlemen, is not oil. It is not tech billionaires. It's not wily politicians. It's not even food. It's our children.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are the future of this is what we're all doing it for. Right. This is why I wake up and I work every day. I don't wake up and work every day so I can worry, about anything else. I worry about my kids and I want to help them. I want to protect them. I want to pay for their lives. I want to give them opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's what we're stuck with. Huh?
At some point when you grow up, it's not about the brands. It's not about what you drive. Mm-hmm. It's not about where you eat or where you travel. It's about your kids.
Right. Yeah. And we're not allocating resources correctly. I mean, and I'm not trying to call out schools, but there's a school right by me. They have an 18-wheeler for the band. So they can carry all the band's equipment to away games. They have an 18-wheeler. They own an 18-wheeler and a driver, but they don't have a police officer there all the time. They don't have security. I mean, we don't have real security for our public schools. They're completely susceptible to attacks.
So I'll tell you my experience with that. I've seen the Tale of Two Cities here. Here in Houston, where my kids go to school, it's a relatively new school from HISD, and that thing is built like a fortress.
Right.
There are no handles on the exit doors that someone can go in through. Right. You got to get buzzed in. The windows to the front of the school are narrow, so you can't fit your body in. And unfortunately, that's the new designers of the schools. Okay. Right. But you got to also think about HISD has infinite resources. They have a lot of money. Right. A lot of money from not only the state, but from all over the world, from people who Houston.
Right.
Big oil money. You know HISD.
Right.
You go to in Laredo and in Uvalde and these border cities that don't have a lot of resources or donations or even citizens that pay taxes. Right. Their schools are very, very limited in what they can do.
Right.
I mean, Uvalde is a community of, what is it like?
It's not a very large. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Yeah, it's 85%. Yeah, 85% Latin Hispanic. American and 81% indigent, and considered in the poverty line.
Exactly. And indigent. The remaining 15% is probably the white people that are the border patrol there.
Or it's border patrol agents. I mean, white or whatever. I mean, it's probably the border patrol agents who are making enough money to live successfully.
Yeah. And so they're not, so anyway, these school districts don't have a lot of resources. And I can understand why there was a lax security at this school district, but that's no excuse. If funding, if making school safer is a problem, then the state of Texas should look into providing every school, no matter what size or what population they service, safe. Yep. Retrofit these schools. If it can be retrofitted, build new ones. But don't sacrifice our children because there's no state funds. I know there's state funds. I pay my fucking property taxes every year.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
oh, for sure. Well, these guys are building football stadiums, and I'm not trying to harp on smaller districts. I understand that, financially things are tough for everybody, but what I am harping on is the fact that,
there's disparity.
There is disparity. There really is disparity. But these small towns and these big towns, whoever they are, they pass these crazy bond districts. They pay the millions of dollars in bonds, but nothing is really being utilized to fucking protect children at school. And I know people say, well, what about Army teachers? What about doing this? What about doing that?
No,
that's not. We can't keep putting Band-Aids. These schools should be fortresses. Your child, and this is all the way up to high school, your child should be able to go to school and not be worried of threats of violence from other students, from anybody else, from anything else. But instead, that doesn't happen. We live in this very, very, very we don't have our priorities straight when it comes to education and protection of our children. And these poor kids, 19 sets of parents, mothers and fathers, today learned the worst news they will ever hear their whole fucking life.
I gotta tell you something about that. I'm pretty sure because being in, growing up in Laredo, a lot of Hispanic parents, especially ones that either come from Mexico, they put their first generation children into these school districts. They put their siblings together in the same class.
Yeah.
They register their kids at the same time. They put their siblings together in the same class because they want to be together. I am almost 100% sure when the dust settles that there will be siblings.
Yeah.
I know. It's gonna be heartbreaking, dude.
So fucking.
I can tell. I know that we know the culture. You know how this goes.
Yeah, no, yeah. They try to put, they want us, they want to keep everyone together, and
exactly.
It's just,
I'm guilty of that too. My twins. I mean, I put them together in the same class, and fuck, dude, something like that happened. It's great.
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up, and it's sad, and it's sick. And once again, we're here, and so, so then, what are the solutions, right? What are the solutions? People are not going to agree on gun control, right? Because people will literally, the Sandy Hook happened, and that was horrible. Now you have this school, you have Santa Fe, you have all these schools, right? We're talking, I mean, a lot of kids have gotten killed. And
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what happens here. Okay, check this out. When was the last time you had a bombing in a plane, or someone bring a gun to on a plane?
Oh, a long time.
A long time. Why can't we do that at schools?
Because we don't want to do what we need to do. Everybody wants to just pay attention to the dumb thing. It's like, oh, it's gun control. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If they don't have guns, crazy people can also do something called, are you going to outlaw alcohol? Right? Because all it takes is a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Are you going to outlaw knives? Are you going to outlaw bats? Mentally deranged people are the problem, and preventing them entrance into the school is going to be your best bet.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I understand that the weapons, that assault rifles and stuff like that, they are, yes. Are they practical? Yeah and no. They're still part of our essential understanding of our freedom. And I know a lot of people may not like that statement or may not agree with that, and that's fine. But we're not going to stop it by gun control, because guess what? Criminals aren't supposed to have guns, and they have them. Gun control only works in a mythical fairy tale land. It doesn't work.
It's guns are a Pandora's box. It's out.
You cannot
put it back in.
Nope.
You cannot, for as much as you can, you cannot put the guns back.
Yeah.
And if the government confiscates guns, you're gonna be tying the hands of the good and leaving the bad out there.
Yeah, because guess what?
It's a Pandora's box.
The bad guy's not going to take their guns back.
No, they're not. No,
they're not. But and
keep their guns, and they rob your shit.
And the truth is, there's 400 million guns out there, guys, and it's going up by the second. Yeah. And nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. But what we can do is we need to have practical, real solutions, and we need to protect our children. And the best way to do it is not handing teachers guns, God forbid, but really having security at our schools. We talk about protecting all these other countries. We're sending packages of $40 billion to other countries. Why don't we do a package for $1 billion to upgrade all of our schools, provide security to all of our schools, so that guess what? They won't have to do what's going to happen tonight. I just, by happenstance, know someone in the FBI that is going to be talking to those people today. And I cannot imagine the horror that person is going to feel. I can't imagine all the things that's going to happen. Just imagine that, dealing with this unbelievable amount of pain, all because we just didn't spend enough money. Fuck. School buses don't even have fucking seatbelts. Y'all know that, right? When your child gets on a school bus, there's no fucking seatbelts on.
Well, you know what they do in HISD?
Yeah, well, no, they're starting to.
Yeah,
They're starting
a
to,
little bit, but the risk
but
school districts.
exactly. They don't have seatbelts, guys. We're so concerned about the dumbest things when our most precious resource, our children, are in danger. It's just sad. It's just so sad. We just need to protect them and stop trying to solve. We try to solve these huge moral conundrums for every single problem we have. Oh, ban guns. No, I want guns. Fuck it. Fuck both of y'all. Yeah. Protect the schools. Spend the money to fortify the schools. Have police officers walking the hallways of these schools instead of out there giving people fucking like sitting at stop signs, giving people fucking tickets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Makes
How many times have you seen a
sense.
cop in the freeway just waiting for you to get a ticket?
Exactly.
Dude, just get off your ass and go to school and protect that shit, man.
Yeah, go get a fucking chair and sit there. So, you know what? Bring your speed gun. See what kids run the fastest through the hall. Do something that's valuable for what we need. And that's protecting these schools. And that's the only way we're going to start doing with this, because at some point, ladies and gentlemen, you have to realize you can, like Rick said, we've already opened Pandora's box. There's no going back. And we all need to really, really, really come to terms with reality. And on top of that, I think the second part of this that we probably need to touch upon is the mental illness, the mental crisis, the mental epidemic we have in this country. There are some really sick people out there. There's really, really sick, sad, depraved people.
When I was growing up, I remember a department called MHMR, and mental health, mental retardation. It was a department here in Texas.
Right.
And somehow I remember back in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, this shut down. The state shut it down. And the concern was, well, what are we going to do now? And no one really provided an answer for this. But they shut down MHMR for some reason, and I never really understood why.
I think a lot of those programs were shut down, right? I mean, I know Reagan did. Reagan shut down a lot. Reagan shut down everything.
And I think Bush 43 also shut down some stuff too.
Yeah.
When
it was a continuation.
And I don't understand why. Well, I mean, it seems like a really wonderful program that a lot of people could benefit from.
Well, that's the crazy thing. They kind of, I mean, if you think about it, they kind of demonize mental health, right? In a way, I think they kind of took it away. I mean, that's why a lot of people say that the homeless crisis is expounded.
Exactly. After they stopped MHMR, the homeless crisis boomed.
Yep.
There was nowhere for these people to go. There was no help for them.
Yep.
I mean, why don't we invest in that also?
Right. Exactly. 100%. 100%. I mean, this is something we both agree on.
Yeah. Why are we putting fucking money in other countries or
anything? Why
anything else?
Doing anything other than protecting our children? Like, really? Like, why are we doing anything else? Like, we should literally stop everything. Literally tell everyone building the toll roads that are owned by the Chinese so that you can pay money to drive on your own freeways, to the $180 million football stadiums, to convention centers in the middle of downtowns that have
to Lockheed Martin and
250,000
Airbus.
Exactly.
And
all these fucking jerk offs just
tank builders
stop payments and just go, hey, guess what? We're going to protect our children. We're going to fortify our schools. We're not going to tell teachers, we're going to say, oh yeah, we arm teachers. That's going to help. It does not help.
Nope.
Nope. Because guess what? The biggest thing is, so if you have a castle, right? And someone lays siege on it, when are you the safest? Are you the safest when they're outside the castle or when they've broken through your walls, right? Doesn't matter if you gave all your guys swords. Once the enemy has broken into the walls, they're going to do damage.
Not only that, also, but it's not that complicated either.
It's really not.
You fortify these schools and you make it so that whoever's trying to break in takes a certain amount of time to get there. Okay, we build the school so that it takes the guy 5 minutes to go in. That should be enough time for a response for the police, or 15 minutes. You know, you take an AR-15, you shoot up the school, and it takes you 15 minutes to get into the school. By that time, police should have already engaged and shot this dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they can make schools like that.
Right, exactly. 5 minutes in a situation like that, just 5 minutes. And you know what? Maybe it wouldn't have saved all 19 of those poor children that died today, but it may have saved a couple.
Yeah.
And I know, and right now, and I'm not trying to, and I don't want to politicize this too much, but right now there's a lot of wokeness going on. And from my side, and they're saying, get rid of the guns, get rid of the guns. That's not going to stop this problem.
No,
it's not. And if you take away everyone's guns, the government, there's no check on the government at all. We have to, there are certain freedoms we have to accept responsibility and understand that unfortunately there's a good and a bad to it. And I pray, we just have to do something. We have to do something, but just calling for the end of guns and trying to say, why don't we take care of it? That's not going to help, guys, because once again,
you're going to hear Beto saying this shit, man, from here to November.
Well, it's not just that, but if you got to think about this, if you're a felon in the United States of America, you cannot possess a gun.
But they do. Come on.
But they do. So guess what? The legal thing is that they're banned from having weapons, yet they still have it. Guys, it's not going to keep people from getting them. And we just need to be realistic with our goals. And the best way to be realistic with these goals is fortifying these schools, protecting our children, and just
look, dude. They fortified the smallest regional airports in the country.
Right.
The airports.
Right.
You don't see guns in that place. You don't see anything like that.
Nope. Nope. I mean, there may be a lot of cocaine and drugs being moved through it, but there's not violence.
There's no guns. There's no guns. They fortified the airports, and they did it effectively.
Yes, with the TSA, which is probably the worst organization when it comes to actual efficiency and I wouldn't even call it an organization. I would just call it a something. I don't know what the fuck to call it. It's something.
I don't know what to call it, man, because I know people who work in TSA that should never be security.
There's dudes that couldn't tell the difference between a bomb and I don't know, and a fucking and a beanie baby
salad or something.
It's bad, bro. It's fucking bad. So, in the end, not even in the end, but it's just, that's really the crux right now. We're in the crux now. We understand that the United States is now, it's going to be thrown back into this situation.
You know what it is, though? It's gonna be annoying because you and I are talking about this, and we know we have a solution to fortify the schools, like they fortify the airports, like they fortified banks. But from here until November, we're gonna see Beto's call for a ban of guns. We're gonna hear Abbott talk about, well, my gun policies. There's no way that, there's no proof that this would have prevented it. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. We got money in the state. You know that we need to fortify these schools. Fucking do it, dude. Like,
exactly.
Just shut the fuck up and do it, man. Okay. Yep.
Good job. Yes. And you know what? They're not going to.
No, they're not.
Politicize it. The Republicans are going to stand hard and not, that we're going to keep our guns, but they're not going to do anything about mental health. They're not going to fortify schools. They're too busy trying to burn books. And you have the Democrats on the other side, just too busy being super woke, talking about how we got to ban all the guns, but not realizing dude, you can't do that. You cannot. It's just dumb. It's so stupid.
God, dude, my hope is that some politician listens to this show, dude.
They're not going to. They're not, and even if they do, guess what? They're not going to use common sense. We need to protect our children, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way we do that is by protecting where they're at. Stop being so fucking cheap with our schools. We shouldn't have teachers begging for fucking school supplies. We shouldn't have kid drop-offs, which are I mean, I don't know about y'all, but when I drop my kid off at school, it's almost like a fight. Like you got parents dipping and diving and jumping in and out and people cutting in front of each other because the schools have just these shitty ways of doing everything because they have no organization. Everything's run shit. It's super cheap and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be what we send our children all day to learn, to be protected, to understand shit. And guess what? Nothing. It's fucking sad. It's just fucking sad. And so here we go once again. You know, the left's going to say one thing, the right's going to say something else.
Yeah. Nothing can get done. 10 years from now, this shit's going to happen all over again with the same circumstances. You got the same deranged individual shooting his mom and then going to an elementary school.
Yep.
And that's it, you know?
Yep. No, I get it. And then guess what? In the end, we're just going to sit here and it's going to be the same conversation. Same thing. And we're just going to sit here and everyone's going to be like, oh, prayers to the families. And, you know, that's one thing I do have to say. I have to agree with the woke side. You have to do more than prayers.
Yeah.
But taking away people's guns is not the way you're going to do it. But the woke,
you got to do more than prayers. You know what they're going to do? They're going to put a little stamp on Facebook with a little circle with your picture.
I
stand with Uvalde or some shit like that. And
exactly. And that's not going to do anything either. And if you're on the right, guess what? Fuck faces, your blood's on your hands, man. You don't want to protect these schools. You don't want to have school districts. You know, there's got to be a way to do this. And it does involve mental health. What's wrong with longer background checks? Right? What's wrong with background checks that look at people's like real history? Or why the fuck are we selling 18-year-olds AR-15s? Why? Like what they can't even buy a beer, but they can fucking buy an assault rifle.
I've always had a thing about buying guns at gun shows from private vendors.
Right.
I can buy a gun. I can go to the George R. Brown on Sunday afternoon, go to the gun show and buy a gun from an individual.
Yep.
And go home with it.
Yep.
You know, like, okay, I know it's a tool. I get it. It's a tool, just like a hammer or a power tool, but it's also, there's also a lot of crazy people out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so this tool that we call could potentially be abused by crazy people. Okay, it's not like a power tool that a crazy person is going to go buy a power tool and use it to hurt people. They can,
right?
They can, but why? But I mean, they have a gun, right? They can go to George R. Brown and on a Saturday afternoon and buy a gun,
right?
There's got to be a balance. There's got to be something that, you know, a little bit more, maybe some paperwork, maybe I don't know.
Well, I just don't. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why we can't check people's mental health too. Why we can't? You know, our actually, you know. You can't drive a car without certain, you know, it's just, we just really got to take a look at
it. Dude, I fucking have to take an eye test at the DMV.
Exactly.
Why can't I take a
simple test to get a gun? Like
a mental test to get a gun. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just answer, you know, or just, you know, and it's just like, oh, well, they're going to keep making it possible. Well, I think if you make it a little harder, it's okay to get one. Right? I mean, fuck, man. But you know what? The right's just gonna be like, nope, just sell them out of the back of a truck because we are, you know, you want the good guys to have the guns. Well, guess what, guys? Good guys can become bad guys because mental health doesn't care. The sad part is this person who's the supposed bad guy. Guess what? They're just someone who lost their mind,
or they lost everything.
Yep. And they're broken.
There's nothing to live for.
Exactly. And now they take from everybody. So
you can't, you can't ban the guns either, like you said, because you know, what's to stop the US from becoming Shanghai? I mean, residents of Shanghai, they had guns, they wouldn't be putting barricades in front of their apartments.
Yeah. Or what's to stop someone from busting, kicking down my door? You know, what's going to help me protect my family, my children, my safety? You know, and you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that by calling the cops because, you know, they're going to take 45 minutes to get here. You can't do that. Sometimes you're on your own, and it's okay to have to be concerned about that.
Yeah.
It's just such a sad. It's just so sad.
Look, man, I've seen, you and I, we've witnessed where this can be done. Okay, we can protect our children, all of them, 100% of them. We can protect them from this kind of violence all the time. We see it every day with airports. We see it every day with banks. We see it every day with government buildings. This can happen, but they don't.
Yep.
They don't.
They don't.
That's the sad part.
They don't. And guess what? Now, now we've lost 19 young souls, and for no reason.
19 young souls, and a lot of broken families.
And I'm not trying to say the adults lost don't deserve, but these are really innocent young children that didn't deserve anything that happened today. I mean, yeah, man. So fucking sad.
A lot of people ask, think about kids. I used to ask myself all the time, what's the point of having kids? You know, they're expensive. They consume your time, and they take away your freedoms instead. But you know what? Well, you know what it is? I get it now. It's their innocence, dude. That innocence is so refreshing in your day.
Yeah.
That a little human being is so innocent to the world that they say the funniest shit.
They do.
They view things differently than you do because they're so innocent.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of having children. That's what it is. That you as an adult, you've lost that innocence. It's gone. It's never coming back. But you have kids and you see this, and it gives you a little bit of hope and a lot of joy to see innocence in its raw form.
Yep.
And that's what having children is all about.
It really is. It really is.
Can't buy that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, it's to me, it's the purest form of happiness. There really is something special about having your own children, or just not even, not even if you want to be a parent, right? That's cool. I understand. It's a lot of responsibility to be a parent, but every time you look at a child, part of you understands that was once who you were. And it was so beautiful and pure, those moments that you had. And someone robbed these moments today. And as we speak, there's more stuff coming in regarding this particular person. He was wearing body armor.
Yeah.
And
that's why he was able to survive a lot of the shots from the Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Because they were engaging him as he was going to the school.
Yeah. So apparently he crashed his vehicle in a ditch near the school before attempting to get there, and law enforcement engaged him. But the sad part is he still got inside. Yeah. And once he was inside, he just went crazy. Now, that's what I'm saying. If we could have kept him from getting inside, don't get me wrong, there may be some kids that will have some PTSD, but at least they're still going to be able to go home tonight.
Yeah.
If we may, but no, instead this guy, he got in, and, and he just, man, it's terrible. It's fucking terrible. It's just terrible. So our hearts and our prayers go out to the city of Uvalde. I think out of respect, we'll probably chill on party in the back tonight. Because I think this is a pretty somber and solemn thing. To all the, to all the victims and all the parents, know that a nation grieves with you. And to, all those poor children, just know that the world can be better than what you had to go through today. And to the family of,
I'm not sure you can say much to these parents, dude.
No, I know there's not. I wouldn't even act like I know what they're going through. I don't even want to act like I remember when one of my kids had to get surgery. I mean, I almost passed out, started crying because I'm freaking out. My child's being taken away from me by a doctor who's it's a totally normal surgery, a completely routine thing. And my heart's dropping.
You want to beat the shit out of that doctor.
Yeah, I mean, you want to grab him.
Yeah.
I almost knocked him out for making the baby cry when it came out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just really sad. It's just sick. It's sad. And people, it's just time for you to fucking do something about it. I understand no one wants to take away guns. That's fine. No one wants to, you can't make everything else happen. But just remember, your voice does matter. And there's some times where you do have to speak up. Maybe this is the time you do.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen, though? It's an election year.
Yeah. It's an election year. So they're going to polarize this. And guess what? The real meaning, those poor children's lives will just be political fodder. And that's even more disgusting.
Yep.
So yeah. So sorry, folks. Not the most lighthearted one today, but I think we did need to talk about this as it happened today. We were planning to record today.
Yeah, we had a list of subjects here lined up too they were a little fun, man. I mean,
we had some fun shit that we're gonna pop off, but you know what? I think sometimes you just gotta be really serious, and today was the serious day. So, I
was gonna do the usual telling you off about voting for Biden kind of thing.
Yes, and then, I was ready, and I was going to talk about the amazing white supremacist movement.
That's right.
Yep, we had plenty to say about those guys.
The pastor with the 16-year-old too.
That was amazing. We did have a fun show planned, but I think. And then
the North Texas high school that trashed your school.
Oh my god, dude, that happened over here.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy, man.
Pendejos. Here you got these kids trashing schools, and you got some crazy. It's just mad. It's just it's crazy when you think about just the polar opposite, the polar reflection of life. And just how in one place you got dumbass kids burning, messing up their school. And then in another place, you got someone shooting one up, and it's all in the same plane of existence.
Yeah.
Just fucking madness.
The UFO hearing was also pretty interesting too.
Which one?
The UFO hearing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting too. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll probably hit that up next week. We're just, and we're not trying to be bummers. We just want to. I think it was probably best that we give this particular incident. And unfortunately, it's sad is when this first popped up, I honestly didn't give it as much attention because I was like, oh, it's just 2. That's what they said at first. It was just a 2. And you know what? That apathy has become one of our greatest problems.
It's just 2.
It was 2.
Dude, I didn't want to believe it, man. I really didn't want to believe it.
I don't want to either.
I was like, no freaking way. And
fucking madness, man. Fucking madness. And unfortunately, tonight is just, So from all of us here at Skip the Noise, want to just say, hug your kids tight.
I did.
And, tuck them in, tell them you love them, because there's real monsters out there, guys. And it's not the ones in your dreams. There's really bad people out there.
Yeah, it's not the monsters in your dreams or fairy tales. It's people.
Yeah,
people are the monsters.
They are the monsters, and unfortunately, a monster was unleashed on those poor children. So, pray for their souls. May they rest in peace. And
we'll hear more in the news.
Yep, we'll hear more in the news.
Unfortunately,
yeah. But I think we're gonna shut this one down. So good night, everybody, and stay safe and be careful.
See
And
ya.
it's whatever's bugging you, whatever really makes you mad, it's not worth going all the way. It's never worth going all the way. And if you are having feelings or ideations or things like that, talk to somebody, get some help. Because that's really what's going to make the pain go away.
Yeah.
So, on behalf of all of us, you have a good night, stay safe, and we will see y'all next week.